Hello, everybody. This
Hello.
is Ruben from Spark Magazine from the Czech Republic. And right now, I have a pleasure speaking with one and only Geoff Tate. Hello, Jeff. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ruben. Nice to talk to you.
Nice talking to you. So, as we all know, few days ago, you guys announced a big thing. Operation Mindcrime is back. The
Yes.
third and final, at least for now, the final part is coming out soon. And I would love to start with a question that came to my mind when you guys announced it. How long you were thinking about that the Mindcrime story wasn't done yet? When did the idea cross your mind?
I think perhaps it was 2020,
Hmm.
actually. And that's when I started sort of writing in that direction. And then it sort of started happening over the last few years and kind of gained momentum uh, until we got to where we are now, which is releasing the full album in May. May 3rd, it comes out.
It's coming soon. Okay, so you said that during the COVID era when everything was kind of slow down, that's when you kind of thought about.
I guess so. Well, I started sometimes when I write, I kind of subconsciously write something, and I don't really know what it means or where it's going to go. Um, but once I wrote the song, then it started making
Hmm.
something happen in my mind, and I started leaning in that direction. But it's been kind of an interesting journey because we've been writing and recording as I've been touring around the world.
Hmm.
And so this record has been all over the place. It's just about in every country in Europe and all over the United States, South America. We were writing when we were in Brazil, and parts of it were recorded in hotel rooms,
Hmm.
backstage at venues. One part was recorded in a castle in France.
That's awesome.
Just wherever we were, we would set up the microphones and the studio equipment and work on the record. So
Hmm.
it's been a wonderful journey and very inspiring environments, and to write with.
So would you say that like it's more fun for you than like let's say what used to be that everybody would get locked in the studio for a few months and kind of work on it at the same time? Would you say you prefer this way now that you're getting inspiration from different parts of the world? Or is it sometimes a little distracting, finishing a show or having a day off and doing that rather than being like, okay, now I have 2 months to really just lock in for the recording process or in the studio what it used to be back in the day?
Well, I like this way doing it quite a bit better
Mhm.
because, well, for many reasons, but for one, there is no time restraint. I don't have to do it at a certain time or get it done by a certain date. It just sort of happens as you feel it,
Mhm.
which I like. Um, Two, I like being in different places and the variety of the different locations. I quite like that. And yeah, it's inspiring to be walking through the streets of Prague, shopping, sightseeing, and then go back to your hotel and go, oh, yeah, this, and then start working on a song. Maybe you finish it, or maybe you start something new. But definitely, environment often has a key role in the development of a creative idea.
And also comparing to Operation Mindcrime 1 and 2, did you first come up with the musical part of the songs, or first the story was completed like lyrics wise, and then you guys were fitting in the music to see which emotion is right for this lyrics, which if it's gonna be faster song, ballad, or something in between? How was it compared to the first two albums with this specific project?
It was really similar, very similar. We started with a story, with a theme, and then um, wrote the songs to fit the theme, really.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
Very similar to the way one and two were put together. I think when you're writing a story album, it really helps to write it all down first,
Hmm.
and work from kind of an outline form. For me, at least, that's the only way I can keep it all organized because there's too many things to think about. So it helps.
And was it? Do you also write the musical part on your guitar, or do you make it on a laptop, like some chord progression, or you mostly focus on the lyrics and vocal melodies? And for example, Kieran or other collaborators bring the music, and then you guys kind of polish it together.
Well, it depends on the song,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
but yeah, I write music and lyrics. I pretty much focus on everything,
Hmm.
honestly. Yeah, it's all you know in my
Hmm.
head. But definitely, the Kieran Robertson really contributed a lot to the writing on this record. Alex Hart
Hmm.
contributed so much again on the record. Primarily, it was the three of us who wrote um, the musical, lyrical parts that became the
Ideas.
record. John Moyer came in and over the last 6 or 7 months to produce the record and kind of put all the pieces together because frankly the three of us really had a hard time putting everything together. We needed somebody to kind of take charge and say, okay, this is a really great song here, and we should finish this part up here, and we should do this here. And John's really talented at that. He's got a great ear for songs, and melody. And um, I have to really thank him for uh, his contribution to the record of making sure it all came together. And my manager and my wife, Susan Tate, she really was the executive producer on the project and was the whip cracker, so to speak, of making sure that we all worked on getting it together once we had all the pieces. Without her, I don't
Mhm.
think this record really would have been finished. Really, it would have probably kept going and going and going, and maybe 10 years from now we would have had another record.
Oh, I would love to also know if there's not a secret yet. I saw an interview from a few days ago with you when you mentioned that this story might be from a perspective of Dr. X.
Yes, it is.
The whole story
Yeah.
is from the perspective of Dr. X.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
in the first album and the second album, uh, we really hear only from Nicky, the main character, and we hear his opinions, his fears, his phobias, his paranoias. It's all about him, and we really don't know much about Doctor X, the main character of the story, the antagonist. And
Mhm.
so um, this is an album based around this guy. Who is he? How did he get to where he is? What makes him tick? And how come he had such a profound effect on Nikki and also Sister Mary? How did he do it? So yeah, the album is from Dr. X's perspective.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was just revisiting a few days ago the Chase song with Rooney James Dio took up on the
Oh yeah.
role, and I saw the live performance. I think was in from Los Angeles, and I
Hmm.
gotta say, dude, like Rooney James Dio, that anger he had in the 3 minute song is just incredible. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it
It's
really is. He really captured the character and the intensity. He really brought that into the studio, and it was amazing to record him and to be there because he was he came into the studio completely prepared for the session, and knew what he was going to do. Had practiced it, rehearsed it, or whatever he did, the magic that he does. Who could explain it? But I remember we were recording and going through take after take after take with him, and my engineer and Jason Slater. At one point, he just put his hands on his head, and he was this guy going. And I said, "What's wrong? What's the problem?" And he goes, "The problem is Dio keeps giving us take after take of amazing stuff, and I can't figure out which is better than the last."
That's awesome. So you guys record he recorded everything in one day, just walk in the studio, prepared,
Yeah, it
kill
was
a few takes.
it was like 3 hours, boom, 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 and it was take after take after take of just great stuff. You know,
Was it
it
recorded
was really
in sorry.
sorry, it
I
was really
was
difficult.
wondering.
It was really difficult to choose what take to use.
Hmm,
Yeah, it was in
was it
San Francisco.
surprising to this, but I was asking, okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Was the rest of the album recorded over there for Operation Mindcrime 2, or the rest was recorded somewhere else? It was just for the Dio
Um,
session.
some of it was in San Francisco, some of it was in Los Angeles, some of it was in Seattle. Um,
Hmm.
I'd have to read back the notes. I can't remember. It was a lot of places.
And also speaking of Sister Mary, I love that on the second album she was way more incorporated, also singing parts. What is
Hmm.
gonna be the situation now if also if it's not a secret yet, or if it's still a secret with Sister Mary? And is it gonna be
Yeah,
the same singer? You gonna have somebody new for Sister Mary for this
I
for
have
this project?
a wonderful singer. Her name is Clodagh McCarthy.
Hmm.
She's Irish
Awesome.
woman, and fantastic singer, fantastic voice, and she has a very prominent role in the album.
Okay, that's incredible. I'm excited to hear
Mhm.
that. And also, so we talk about Kieran Robertson. I just want to say I've seen you guys, I think maybe since 2021 when you played together. And I would love to know how did the collaboration with Kieran Robertson, how did he join the band? Because he's been
Oh,
with you for a little while now. So how did it
mhm.
first come together? Because he's also, he's my age. So I was just wondering how that all came together.
Oh, it's kind of an interesting story. Um, I first met Kieran in, I believe it was 2016,
Hmm.
and he was he was helping he was a production assistant at a venue we played at in Glasgow, Scotland,
Hmm.
and he's he was a very charismatic young man, and he started dating my daughter, and they dated for like, I don't know, four years,
Hmm.
and anyway, a couple months later, I needed a guitar player for a tour starting in America, and my I had visa issues with my previous guitar player, so I had to replace him. And my daughter suggested Kieran. Um, it was an acoustic tour, and so I asked him, "Have you ever played acoustic guitar?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I play acoustic. I play all kinds of guitars, whatever you need, you know." I said, "Do you have an acoustic guitar?" He said, "Well, no, I don't." So we went down to the music shop, and I bought him a really nice acoustic guitar. And I said, "Okay, well, let's see what you can do." And so he played the acoustic guitar for me, and he's a very proficient player, a very good player. I go, "Well, do you know any of my music?" And he goes, "I've heard a few songs." And he launched into like, "I Don't Believe in Love" and "Eyes of a Stranger." And I go, "Okay, you're hired." So
Mhm.
he toured with me for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I guess it was. And we got to be good friends, and he's very talented as a writer. And I didn't know that at first, but then I heard things he had written, and um, he was just a really good creative fit, for being the kind of person you bounce ideas off of. Uh, he fit really well with the way I like to work, and yeah, so it's been great, and he's really, really, really. He was my right hand throughout all this. He really took the job seriously, and he's really into the project too, really believes it and loves the music, which is so great. You want to have people working with you that are into the music as much as you are.
Mhm. Yeah, I gotta say, every time I've seen you guys with Kieran, because I also seen you before many times, I just love that the energy on stage, like it just almost, without sounding funny, almost feels like they feed you and back is like a transaction of energy, and everybody, and then the crowd feels it. Because I've seen those whiskey shows when you guys play Rage for Order, and it was, just like I never had a chance to see it back in the day, but I'm thinking it was very close to how it felt when you guys
Oh
first
yeah,
recorded the album. Just the raw energy, just going for the songs, and it was incredible, dude.
I know what you mean. That kind of energy is incredibly important, live especially. And I have that. I'm so fortunate to have that right now with my band. They're great players, and they've really worked diligently and hard on getting all the nuances down, all the details down with the music. And they take great pride in it actually to play it like it's written. Rather than sort of trying to put like their signature on it, and blues rock it out. They don't do that kind of thing. They play it like it was written, and I'm happy about that. I really like that, and I feed off their energy too. They all have incredible energy live.
So would you say, Jeff, that was one of the reasons that a few years ago you kind of decided to go back to your old catalog and dig deep like Queen of the Rye in those songs? Because I gotta say, when you guys ended the Rainbow Show with Queen of the Rye, I had like chills on my spine because that's, it's just there's something about those early songs that like when you brought it back to the set list, well, you've played it, but as a fan, I was like, that's crazy. That just and
Mm.
I was wondering, was it because I remember that you guys didn't play it in Queensrÿche for a little while, those old songs. What was the main motivation to just be like, oh, let's just go back to the roots and just play all the old songs from like the 83, 84 era?
Oh gosh. Well, Kieran is a big part of that. He
Hmm.
was really wanted to play um, a lot of those songs live,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he actually talked me into doing songs from the Warning album, which I hadn't done in years and years and years. So that was fun, and I think it's strictly because he wanted to play the music live,
Hmm. Is there
But
any
I'm glad.
song?
I'm glad he talked me into it because we did a tour a couple years ago where we played Empire and Rage for Order back to back, and I really enjoyed playing those albums, and we did Promised Land, played the whole album in its entirety. That was incredible. Really happy we did that too.
Mhm. And I'm wondering when you build a set list, and let's say you do a show that is not the whole album, is there, when you're thinking about the songs, do you think of strictly how it's gonna work with the dynamics with the crowd, or do you also think, okay, I'm gonna, because a lot of those songs are very, technically difficult. Are you also thinking, oh, I'm gonna save this song for the later in the set list, or I'm just gonna go crazy with the, let's say something from the Warning earlier on to kind of just belt it out when how do you compose a set list uh when you don't do the whole album in its entirety?
Well, I find it to be very challenging to create a set list. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
dynamics are a big part of it because you want the show to, have like a wave to it, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
definitely you want to be coming up at the end. So yeah, you have to space the song together in a way that is going to take the audience on a ride, really. But then again, you kind of balance that with what you really want to play, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I have I think 187 songs. That's a lot of songs. And I only play or only get to play maybe 30 tracks. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of stuff I'd love to play and haven't had a chance to do it yet, you know. Because honestly, audiences they get burnt out after hour and a half, 90 minutes, People just can't take it anymore. It's too much. Like we tried playing this show. We tried doing a 2.5 hour show,
Mm-hmm.
and the audience was just like, uh, they had to sit down. Uh, yeah, they just couldn't take the, I guess, the intensity or the volume level or something. I don't know,
But
but
do
we tried to shorten it a little bit, and that seems to work better for people. They feel good about it, you know.
and just quickly, just circle back to my part of my question with you vocally. Do you also keep that in mind, and do you prefer to sing the songs that may be a little more difficult for you than the others earlier on, or do you want to like usually keep it till the end of the show just to like go for whatever it is there? What do you prefer yourself as a performer who plays all the time, is always on, but what do you like for yourself also to sustain the whole tour, performance level if you guys play like every day or every other day when it's like a long tour?
Um, hmm. Well, there's nothing have that's too difficult for me to
Mm-hmm.
sing. It's more about again taking the audience on a ride, really,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to create um, a good flow to the set list. You know, yeah, I think that's probably pretty much it. I don't really think
So
about the difficulty level. You know,
so for you, doesn't matter if you open with Queen of the Rice or if you close the set with Queen of the Rice.
no, as long as I'm not sick,
Mm.
it's okay.
Speaking
You
of
know.
that, do you when you're not on tour, do you still sometimes just sing just to get the vocal chorus still on? When you I know you tour a lot, but when you're in downtime and also before the shows, do you warm up or do you rather preserve everything just to kind of go on when the show time is on?
Well, what I do is I start warming up first thing in the morning when I wake up, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of sing all day long. And then I always try to take a sound check because that's the real test of, you know, one, how you're physically feeling, and two, to get your mix that you're listening to correct so that you can give the best performance possible, and to make sure that all the equipment's working because there's a lot of stuff, that can go wrong live. And we try to minimize that happening by sound checking pretty extensively. So we typically sound check for like an hour and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and we work out new parts of the show or things we want to do differently. We work on a little bit on choreography, like where we're going to be at a certain time of the song, so we're not running into each other, that kind of thing. We work on lighting cues. Um, yeah, it's just a great time for the whole tour entourage to get together and focus on making sure that the show is ready to go and is going to work.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember when you switched to the in-ears? Was it a natural thing for you? Because I've spoken to a lot of artists and they said some of them still, even though they know it's not good for them, they just prefer the normal speakers just blasting to them because they say that somehow it's just not right in their head to have the in-ears. I would love to see what is your take because I've noticed that you've been using it for a while at this point.
Oh, I've been using them for 20 years. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, yeah, we started using in-ears back when they first came out, when they first started. And we had specially molded, you know, um,
mm,
things, to going into our ear. And it was a company called Sensophonics, which is one of the first, if not the first company to make in-ear monitors. So yeah, we've kind of been there from the beginning of in-ear technology all the way till today. Yeah, yeah, it's just really natural for me and really used to it. And I did a tour. Well, I guess it's been almost 10 years ago now. I did an acoustic tour and didn't use in-ears, but just used the speakers.
mm,
And it took me a little bit of time to get used to that. It was weird, very different. The music seems so far away.
mm,
With the in-ears, everything's very immediate, and I can really control my mix and get it just the way I want. And I can have hi-hat cues coming in at certain times to make sure I'm coming in the right place. I can talk to my sound man, out front.
Right.
If there's an
Mhm.
issue, he can talk to me and nobody else can hear him, which is great. There's just so many benefits to using the in-ears that I couldn't think of using the old speaker monitors ever again, especially for electric loud music. It's one thing acoustic, it's okay acoustically, but when you get into like hard rock music, the inners is the way to go, I think, for me at least.
So what is in Geoff Tate's mix
What's
for
in
for
it?
whole electric like full band show? What do you
Oh,
like to have there for what you need, or would you like to have in the
oh,
mix wise? The
it's
whole band?
beautiful. It sounds like the record.
Okay, okay. Because I know
Yeah.
some people like maybe they don't need like some guitars, they just need more of the rhythm section. You like to have it like as the record.
Yeah, I like to have it like a beautiful stereo mix with everything in the right place. Yeah, I love that.
Mm. All right, let's speaking of the stereo mix, let's go back to the new album, and I would love to know what you think about the Dolby Atmos mixes, because I know it's a big thing in the past few years. A lot of
Yeah.
even rock bands kind of went back to old catalog and remixed everything. What do you
Hmm.
personally think about it while making new albums or new music, and also maybe going back to listening to your old stuff, being oh that'll be kind of sounding cool in Atmos, like the old Mindcrime or Empire. What is your take on it?
Yeah, I think it sounds amazing. Yeah,
Mm.
anything that you can do to enhance, the musical interpretation of your music, I'm all about that. You know, I love the 5.1 mixes and the Dolby Atmos. I love it all. You know,
Mm. When you guys were mixing the Operation Mindcamp 3, what was the in 2026, what was the main platform in your opinion that you guys kept in mind for the mixes? Was it the AirPods? Was it the like car stereos? What do you in your opinion, what was like the main focus, like what to mix it, what people would listen to most on?
well, we tried to make it sound good on everything,
Mm.
honestly. We tried car stereos, listening to the mixes. We tried in ears, iPods, or whatever these AirPod things. Yeah, we went through all the different things to listen to it and see how it sounds. And I think we did a wonderful job on the mix on this one. It's the production's beautiful. Especially the rhythm section, which I think is probably one of the most difficult things to capture with my music. And we've got amazing bass, drum, rhythm, guitar combination. It's so chunky and big, and it's very like chest pounding kind of sound. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I was Kieran was kind enough to send me Power yesterday
Oh,
first
yeah.
single. So I had a chance to listen to it a good amount of times. And I don't know exactly what you're talking now. The rhythm section, when the guitar goes up, starts, it's like it's heavy.
Yeah, it's
It's pretty
cool.
heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. And I was listening to it on these guys, the AirPods, and I gotta say, yeah, it's a good headphone album, or at
Yes.
least from what I heard so far. And
Yeah.
speaking of Power, was it a first clear choice for the single, or you guys were playing with few ideas, few songs, which one to pick as the lead single or as the first single for the project?
Yeah, it was just chosen by all of us as the logical first choice. Yeah.
Mm. I love in the
Mhm.
chorus. I love the little notes to the first Minecraft, the speak, all that is very nice, nicely incorporated.
Mhm.
And when you record vocals, Geoff, in studio, do you come or like where it used to be when you actually guys got locked in the studio? Did you already have most of the stuff like pre-rehearsed, pre-planned, or you kind of sometimes went like, oh, let's make the melody on spot.
Do kind of like well, let's get crazy with it. Let's just play around with the melodies here, play around with the cadence or the rhythm of the part and see what we can come up with that's different and weird, And sometimes you go with that, so at the end, that's your choice. Sometimes it's parts of what you've done differently. And then sometimes it's exactly the way you've written it, previously. You just, you never know. But it's always good to come up with different ways of doing it to see,
Mhm.
trying the idea out.
So you said the album is coming out in May, which is very soon. What
Yeah.
do you guys plan right now? Is it gonna be how many singles you guys think of releasing? Is it gonna have a music video with it? Or what do you guys think of right now? What is gonna be the pre-plan before the actual product is out? Would you guys?
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to release a few more tracks before the
Mhm.
album comes out. And yeah, I think I'm working on a video for one of the tracks right.
Nice. Do you how many? What do you think is in this day and age good amount of new songs to bring to like start playing live? Because I know you guys done the Mindcrime, the whole thing. What do you think for the audience is like the right mix to kind of how many new songs to bring in? How
Um,
to what is your take on that?
yeah, it's always a touchy thing. Yeah.
Mm,
I like to introduce the new stuff um, a little bit at a time. You know,
mm,
what I've found throughout the years is that when you play the new material, people don't know it. And so oftentimes music that people don't know, they are not interested in, right? It's just, I don't know, something about human nature or something.
yeah.
But then a year later, you come back to the same town and you play the same song, and oh, now they know it and
You know
now
it.
they're excited. So it takes time for new music to sink in your head. That's my conclusion. So
Mm.
I like to introduce like one or two songs in the set, um, sparingly, and then the next time through, maybe a couple different ones.
Mm. Are you gonna be playing with the Minecraft concept with the entire album, or is it gonna be kind of best of plus throwing some new songs from the new Minecraft album for the
Live,
upcoming
you mean?
tour? Live,
For the
yes.
tour?
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll be playing some of the new songs from the new tour.
Mhm.
Yeah, from the
I'm
new
pretty
tour.
pretty excited about that, and
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
very
love
excited.
it's it's actually pretty cool that the second Mindcrime came almost 20 years after the first one, and
Yeah,
now we are 20 years later. It's almost like you planned it for this year, Jeff, or your wife, or your wife. Somebody planned. Good timing.
yeah. It's strange how it came out. Actually, the new album is coming out on the same date, May 3rd, as the original Mindcrime one.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and that's coincidence. We didn't plan it.
Mhm. Mhm. That's awesome. Is it coming also on vinyls, or are you guys playing CDs
Yeah,
and
it's coming
streaming?
out on it's coming out on all sorts of formats. Yeah, vinyl too.
Actually, speaking of where I'm from, the Czech Republic, I don't know if you know, but I think at this for the past maybe 5-10 years, Czech Republic is the biggest producer of vinyl. Like every new vinyl is usually from the Czech Republic because we have like a big plant and it's kind of coming back right now, and it's a big thing from Czech, which I love,
Mm.
because vinyl, just the album cover itself when you see on a bigger format. I grew up with CDs. I'm 31 years old, but I'm really appreciating like when you see the whole thing. It's just a different, like all of CDs. It's of course but the vinyl, it's something about that. It's different. Mm. And also, I would love to ask, go back to the memory lane, and we spoke about Dio earlier, the 1985 Project Stars.
Mhm.
How many days were you guys there for? And was it more just like a peers hanging out kind of vibe, or was it because it was back in the day, when everybody was almost, I would say, competitive from what I heard, the interview. How was it, the vibe at the studio when, because I saw the behind the scenes, the guitar players, was everybody was going crazy, the vocal takes, but it was it how were the memories? Like, how do you remember the day or the days at the Stars recording?
Well, my memory of it is that I was very new and young. I was
Hmm.
24 years old, I think. And I got to the studio and walked in, and Ronnie met me and said, "Okay, hey, you ready for your take?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty ready. I'm ready, warmed up, and ready to go." And he goes, "Well, come on out here." He took me out to the vocal booth and helped me set up the microphone and the headphones and everything. And he said, "Okay, you cool?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'm going to be right behind the glass there, so let's get rolling." He walked into the studio, and I looked up, and all these people were in the studio listening. Like Rob Halford was there, um, Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult was there, Neil Sean from Journey was there. All these guys were like listening to me sing, you know. I was, ah, I was so nervous. I couldn't even think. I was so nervous, right? And somehow I managed to get through the session. But for me, it was just like um, painfully, painfully. Uh, was it? What's the word? I felt very conspicuous. Um, probably because I was young and I just didn't have that kind of confidence. To be singing in front of these like amazing musicians who've had so much success in their lives. And I was just this new kid starting out. But I did okay, and Ronnie seemed happy with my takes. And then the rest of the day was just like hanging out, and we did like a big group sing along kind of thing on the choruses.
Oh
And
yeah, saw
so
the video.
he put everybody in the room, and we all stood there and shouted the chorus out for, I don't know, an hour, I guess it was, and all the cameras were clicking and the video was going. But really, the whole experience is kind of a blur for me, because it happened so quickly, and it was just really the day. That was just
Mhm.
one day for me. I think Ronnie was there every day, for weeks on end, putting together the production. But for
So,
me, it was just one day.
so did Rooney pick who's gonna pick which part, or you guys
Yeah.
went like yourself to over like multiple sections and he said, "Oh, this one."
No, he picked everybody's part, and um, picked the singers to sing the solo parts, and he picked which guitar player was going to play what. Yeah,
Mhm.
he was very much producing it and very much in control of it.
It's kind of fits what you were saying earlier when he came to your session, fully
Yeah.
rehearsed, fully planned, everything like on. That seems like that was Rooney James Dio.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to remember at that time, he must have done like, I don't know, 15, 20 records already. He had so
Mhm.
much experience with Elf and with Rainbow and his own band and
Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. And geez, it's just he had worked with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, and he was just very um, good at sort of navigating and working with people. A very good communicator. Yeah, he
Mhm.
was he was wonderful. I wish that we could have worked more together over the years, and I would have had him produce other records that I had done. I would have loved his input.
Wasn't Dio the one of the first bigger Queensryche tours that you guys were on? The
Yeah,
1984,
yeah,
80, 85?
yeah. In fact, he introduced us to touring in Europe. Actually,
Oh
our
wow.
first tour of Europe was with him, and we did like 33 dates all through Europe and Scandinavia on his Last in Line tour. It was great. And
Mhm.
he was so nurturing and so good to us. He took time to explain how things worked, and told us what to do and what not to do, and gave us really good advice. Starting out, and
Mhm.
he was a true gentleman.
That's awesome. And also, I would love to ask, because I think it was 2 years ago, I attended one of the Bruce Dickinson's like a book sessions when he just talks about stuff, and he multiple times mentioned the Three Tremors,
Oh, okay.
the Three Tremors project, and he even like sang a little bit, or I believe there's a song "Tyranny of Souls" that actually ended up being on his solo album, and he was precisely like singing and showing us. which part he had in mind for you, Rob, and himself. And I would love
Oh,
to know how far back in the day, in the early 2000s, you guys gone with the project or the thoughts, because everybody who is a fan knows the video of you and Bruce joining Rob for the One to Love to Hate in London for the show. So how that was? What was the how far in the project did you guys end up going to back in the day with that idea?
not far at all. No,
Mm,
no. Yeah, I don't know what was happening in Bruce's mind at the
mm.
time, or Rob, what he was happening or what was going on with him. But yeah, from my perspective, it didn't progress very far at all. We were all busy doing different things, and it was impossible to get us all in one place. You know.
I saw there were some promotional photos though. I think I saw it somewhere online. So that was pretty cool. I just discovered it a few years ago. Like
Oh,
you
that
guys
one
took some the one or
where
two
we're
two
all
yeah,
like side view. Yeah,
that
I think
one.
somebody put that together. I had that
Also,
too.
it wasn't a photo session. Somebody
No,
just
no.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody just put us all in the same place.
Right. How do you remember the Brave New World Queensrÿche Halford tour? Because again, I was a little
Oh,
child, but I remember there was kind of from people that saw it, they said, "Hey, this is when like the classic heavy metal kind of came back in America."
yeah, it
How was
was
it
a
for you, Jeff?
fantastic tour. Oh, it
Was
was
it?
great. It was wonderful. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal tour. So many memories of it, so many great times. Um, so many great shows. And just show after show was fantastic. Great
Mm.
audience, great turnout. We had a wonderful time when we weren't touring. We were golfing. The guys in Iron Maiden and Queensryche are avid golfers, and so we were at it every chance we could get going out on the course. We had a competition going at one point. Yeah, it was a pretty fun tour. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff, so much for your time. It was
Oh, thank
a
you.
very lovely time talking to you. And I'm super excited to also go to the listening party at the Vibe Room on the 20, I believe it's on the 23rd.
Great,
And I'm excited to hear more of the new album.
great. Well, thanks. Good talking with you, Ruben, and take care of yourself. And I'll see you then.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
All
Cheers.
right. Adios.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.